Once upon a time, in a little village at the edge of a forest, there stood an old barn. This barn was home to a community of mice, but these were not happy mice. These mice were constantly on edge because of Whiskers. Whiskers was a real S.O.B. She would hunt the little mice whenever they left the barn, and sometimes even inside it. Tired of living in fear, the mice decided to call a grand council. So they gathered in the center of the barn, each mouse finding a different place from which to watch. As one mouse, a wise old fellow named Doug, climbed into a bell that lay atop an old table. The mice listened as the bell projected Doug's voice. "All right, listen up, folks," he squeaked wisely. "We need a plan to deal with this puss." The mice nodded. They threw around a few ideas, but nothing seemed to stick. Then, suddenly, a young, adventurous mouse called Steve stood up and said, "I've got it! Look at that bell you're sat in, wise Doug. Why don't we bell the cat? If we hang a bell around Whiskers' neck, we'll hear her coming before she catches us." A wave of excitement buzzed through the crowd. It seemed like a stroke of genius. The mice began to picture their new lives as a pussy-free fever dream of safe, cheesy living. But wise Doug signaled for quiet. "A fine plan," he said, wisely. "But who is going to bell the cat?" The room fell silent. Steve was lost for words. The mice on the floor looked over at the mice on the platform, who in turn looked over at the mice on the mound of dirt, who quietly took a backward step. "Do remember," mused Doug, "that a plan is only as good as its execution." And Steve never opened his stupid mouth again.